Professor, with your permission.
Please, it's your show.
Friends, I hope all of you are able to hear me. Today is a very, very, I would say, auspicious day for IIT Hyderabad. We are blessed with the presence of a very, very eminent scholar, put it that way. One of the best teachers I have ever come across, and one of the best academic administrator I have ever seen a number of administrators at various places. A person who wants to read the rules from the perspective of a human being is, if I can put it in a nutshell, that is the kind of. I have been at IIT Kharagpur during his time as a director there, so that's why I have personally, experienced what kind of a scholar he was. His whole 5-year tenure was how to improve academics at IIT Kharagpur, and also how to bring in a kind of a human face in the administration. Most of the time, administration is like a war, to be honest. And I have seen how a director can change the way administration looks at the needs of faculty and the needs of students, and that's amazing. So that's I'm not exactly from his field, manufacturing, but materials comes very close to manufacturing, so there is a lot of overlap there. So I have seen that he has written 13 books. Many of them are very well acclaimed all over the world. Many people have got benefited, were there in this own hall, associated support for many years. And of course, as a scholar, he is well known, fellow of all the 4 academies in the country, and also has been chairing a number of committees, starting from the DST committees, and also he was the chairman of CMERI and Durgapur for almost 30 years, and various other committees that he also tells me that he was also initially connected with the JICA when the JICA was thinking of IIT Hyderabad. So there is some connection that we also have with him that way. And the JSPS also, he was associated with JSPS program for many years. And today he is with us to share some thoughts that he has. He has even written a book on that. So some of you are interested in that. And an area which is reasonably close to IIT Hyderabad, I would say. The fact that we have started a Department of Heritage Science and Technology, we want to know how science grew in the country, how we can possibly learn from that for the future technological growth that India would like to have. That's the purpose with which our Department of Heritage Science structured and formed, and I'm sure thoughts like this will give a good direction for us how to look at the history of India from a very close scientific perspective. We are eagerly looking forward to listening. Sir, thank you very much for again coming and delivering this speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And a very good afternoon to all of you, friends. As you can see, that the topic here I have given slightly different from perhaps which was announced, but frankly speaking, the material content will be the same. Now, I feel that a serious problem with Indian history is that its ancient past is shrouded in a lot of mystery. And as a result, a lot of people have tried to open up and tell about our past. Most of these people were Europeans in the 18th and 19th century, and they tried to figure out about our past history following the scriptures with their limited knowledge of Sanskrit, particularly the ancient Sanskrit. They came up, many of them had a genuine interest and they are quite sincere and academically honest. But even then, there are lots of hurdles in finding the real truth, and many wrong theories came. And some of those were also propagated by the interest of the then ruler, the East India Company. And that's how, from the very beginning, any discussion on ancient India charged with politics. But you want to say anything apart from the school textbooks, which tell you something about how it's all started only 1500 BC. You know, people will feel that you are trying to support a particular type of political party, but which is the most unfortunate thing. A country's ancient past and history must be known to the extent possible. And India's ancient past and Indian history actually affects the history of the whole human civilization. So it is very important to know at least certain things in a very scientific way without any ambiguity. So this talk is actually a method or an approach by which you can have a tentative chronology of ancient India by a scientific method, not just by some hunch or somebody wishful thinking. And that is possible by following the stars. You know, they are our real guides. Now, as I mentioned just now, there is no recorded history before Gautama Buddha in the formal way. There are recorded things, but Western scholars don't accept that as history. The ancient scriptures are considered by the Western scholars to be totally fictional. Certain preconceived notions and dogmas propagated by Western scholars in the 19th century still dominate the mindset. Actually, you know that till in 1923, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were not discovered. So in the 19th century, it was thought there is no relic of any past civilization in Indian soil. So it must have started from Buddha's time. That was considered to be the beginning of Indian history. But things changed completely from the third decade of the past century. See, any opposition to the Western scholars' proposal of the 19th century is considered to be politically motivated, as I mentioned just now, and a free and frank academic discussion faces problems. A few important points we must Kottas and Andrakottas mentioned in the Chronicles of Megasthenes as recorded by Pliny Strabo with Chandragupta, the founder of Maurya. That was the first direct link was established between our history and their history. Because I myself have all the Megasthenes books. So Sandrakota, there in Greek language things were slightly wrongly spelled. Like Pataliputra used to be called Palibotra. Himalaya used to be called Himadaus. Then Sri Lanka, its ancient name was Tamraparni. In Greek, they used to call it Taproben, like that. So actually, when this was found out by William Jones that Chandragupta is no other person but Chandragupta, immediately a direct linking was done. So using this birth of Gautama Buddha is determined by the Western scholars, and according to them, ancient Indian history can be chronologically established from there on. The history of India before Buddha is shrouded in mystery, and according to the Western scholars, the invading Aryans came around 1500 BC, and the civilization, as we know today, started there. Megasthenes mentioned that he was shown a list of 154 generations of kings by the then scholars who ruled India for, I think, 6,000 some odd years. He further emphasizes that Indians have always lived in India and have neither gone out nor came up. Now, what is very ancient in our perspective, Megasthenes was in the 3rd century BC, was recent to him, isn't it? So what he says has far more credibility than what we see after 2000 years of dark period. Till 1923, no trace of any ancient civilization in India was discovered. But after the discovery of Indus civilization, effort has always been to match it with the theories framed already in the 19th century. The main thing was like now you have a Big Bang theory, and now when James Webb Space Telescope tells that it is not fitting with James Webb Big Bang theory, scientists are trying their best to modify to see that it matches. Same thing was done there also. Politicization of the Aryan invasion theory, which is taught in all textbooks by the British rulers, has done a permanent damage, and freeing any debate on AIT from politics is very difficult. However, many ancient texts refer to historical events. In fact, quite a few Puranas like Vayu Purana and Brahmanda Purana state very clearly that they record history. In the concluding chapter of Vayu Purana, it states, this is a Sanskrit sloka, and when translated, it says that when it means that the learned Brahmana who hears or tells or teaches the old history will enjoy happiness for eternity, all those things. Besides, Purana word itself implies history. Under such conditions, astronomy can play an important role in helping to develop a tentative chronology of ancient India. Determination of chronology requires markers in the sky on the timeline. The only scientifically dependable markers in time are the stellar alignments in conjunction with the seasons and their relationship with the cardinal directions, that is north, south, and east-west directions. Based on the study of various ancient aspects of India's past, a tentative structure for the chronology of ancient India in the protohistoric and historic era can be erected, as shown like this. Here you can see this Vedic and Puranic tradition. It continues. The astronomical pointers continue to give us information. This is the timeline. These are the important events. Mahabharata war. According to most recent scholars, the sea tanker of ancient Indian history is not Alexander's invasion, but Mahabharata war. Then next important thing was birth of Gautama Buddha and throning of Mahapadmananda. And because that is linked with Parikshit's birth by Purana, Vishnu Purana, sorry. So it is mentioned there that how much time elapsed from Parikshit to Mahapadmananda. So therefore, Mahapadmananda is a person, the only person who is in ancient Purana and also in ancient history. Then Chandragupta is contemporary of Alexander. Obviously, then you get this. Then I think a lot of research has been done by Puranic genealogical lists of kings. The most important such researcher is Pargita in the 1911 or so. Then I think we discovered Sindhu Saraswati. And then Vedic Saraswati, geological and biometeorological analysis of this dried up Vedic Saraswati is another link. But when it was described as a mightiest river, and now when it completely dried up, those things can be easily found out. So the tentative structure of ancient India chronology is like this, and this is the period where I think astronomy is a type of branch of positional astronomy which is used for gating events. How possible? Because it is constantly changing so very slowly. So therefore, this slow change, see at a gap of 2000 years, see the difference quite prominent. That is the subject in archaeology. And this branch of positional astronomy is used for identifying the date of particular alignment. And this approach can be again classified into sub-branches. One is physical astronomy, where you already have the structure, its alignment, sunrise, etc. all kinds of things. Another one is just description of some ancient alignment, and that is called description. So in physical astronomy, as I mentioned, ancient structures are studied, but very ancient structures are not there. So on 3000 BC, yeah. But descriptive architecture can go back. You don't need any structure, and only old description of some skill alignment did them particularly. And this method of dating using only astronomical description has an advantage that no material object or artifact. And in these cases, where reasonably unambiguous and precise descriptions of some particular types are available, fixing the epoch such description is possible. And in this respect, old scriptures and literature of India by British. Whether they record correct history or not, that is beside the point. But if they describe a particular type of particular alignment, which scientific there is no doubt that that text was. Now, I think we have to tell you that all of you have familiar with functional astronomy. So I think I'll just take time. Functional astronomy. So this is the sun system, where you all know that sun is at the center. Power, and also taking, and this is the situation. This is what so where is it gone? Yeah, let me go. Slideshow. It's a system. There. So you can see one thing. Very So you can see when it is going at the axis is tilted away from the sun. That is in northern hemisphere, because the amount of sunlight in northern hemisphere is less than the night. These are the two positions where the day and night are equal. Autumn equinox and vernal equinox. This is the summer period. So the 4 cardinal days. This is called the winter solstice day, the solstice day. This is the winter or rather spring equinox. Equinox means equinox is night. That is day and night are equal. That is 21st March nowadays. This is the summer solstice. The day is the longest, and this is the autumn equinox. These are the 4 cardinal days. And seasons depend on. But what we see is that we are at the center of the universe, the rest of everything is going down like sun. But actually, what we see is that the real stationary sun, everything else is going down. Now, this motion, see, sun is, that is not the heavy motion. That is due to the rotation of the path. These are the, if you see every day, sun is slowly. So the cardinal days, this is the 4 cardinal days. Here, this is the position when you are tilted towards the sun. So it is the summer solstice. Here, this is the winter solstice. These are the 2 equinoctial days. And this plane in which Earth orbits, and this is called ecliptic plane. Why ecliptic? Because when moon is on this plane and in conjunction or in opposition. So we find that this line along which our sun appears to go as the ecliptic. So if we expand or consider this plane, then Earth's globe, their intersection is circle, and this is the equator of the Earth. So 2 circles we get. One is ecliptic, other is the equator. Then what we do? The celestial sphere. Celestial sphere we see is this. It appears like a dome. It's Sanskrit of the whole. And this is the Earth axis which punctures the celestial dome, which is imaginary. This is called the North Celestial Pole, the South Celestial Pole. And this is the path which we expand and project it. This is the ecliptic. Sun goes always along this. Not only Sun, all the other planets, they are also very near to the plane around which Earth goes. So therefore, all of them are very near to the time all the time. And this is the celestial equator, projection of the terrestrial equator on the celestial globe. So these are the 2 points where the ecliptic and the equator, they intersect. They are the equinoctial point. This is this winter solstice, the summer solstice. Same thing I'm showing. And the whole thing appears to rotate on every 24 hours. That is precisely because of the spin motion of the Earth. That is not the real motion against that. So actually what is happening? The sun is here, Earth is going. So next day, Earth first day here, day 2 it is here. So on this day, sun appears to be against this star in the sky. But next day, same sun will appear to be against another star. So when you see from the Earth, this appears like this. On the first day, sun is against X, like here. Second day, sun was on here and against the star. So sun appears to go from east to east like that, and it takes 365 days to come around 360 degrees. So every day it goes by 1 degree, and it goes by 30 degrees. So what happens if you see the sunrise? First day sun appears to be here. Next day sun will come to appear to be here. Third day it will appear to be here against the background of the fixed stars. So therefore, this is the ecliptic along which sun is moving every day 1 degree like this. And the whole thing appears to rotate because of the Earth's rotation. So this is what I said, that some actual motion of the sun as seen by us is like this. Along the ecliptic, it moves 1 degree. And this is the celestial equator. When you are seeing standing on a location which is on the equator, somewhere like Singapore or so. If you are on some other place, like say for example Hyderabad, northern hemisphere, then the equator appears to be like this. In fact, this being the polar latitude of this place, and this is the ecliptic, against which all the stars, all the planets, the sun, everything surrounds this. And the whole thing rotates. That is due to the spin motion of the Earth on its grid. So this is what you observe. You can see that actual sun is here. Next day sun has come here. It's slightly come down. If you check with this star, you find. Next day it has come slightly. This 1 degree, 1 degree, 1 degree is going. And this is the ecliptic. And this is the actual. planetarium software, you can see if the day how the sun and the other stars are placed. So, if standing somewhere, this is the observing, and this is your horizon, and this is the horizontal plane. Sun rises in the east at some location, goes down, so it sets in the west. So on the equinoctial days, it rises exactly in the east and sets exactly in the east. On summer solstice day, it rises far towards north and has the longest path, sets here. Winter solstice day, it is far towards south and it has the shortest path. So if you take photograph of sunrise, 4 coordinate of days, standing at a fixed location, how it looks like this. You can see on summer solstice day, it will be appearing to rise here. Equinoctial days will appear to rise exactly on the east, and on the winter solstice day, shortest day, it will appear. So it is a photograph of sunrise from the same location on these 4 days of the year. So what happens? From June to December, the sun is slowly shifting this way. That is called the Dashinan in Indian stars. And from December to June, it comes slowly. Here it appears as standstill. Here it appears standstill. That's why they are called solstice. When you look for the northern sky, what you see? Then you will see that the whole sky is rotating about a point. Luckily, we have a star there, which is called Polaris or Dhruva Nakshatra star. But the point where this axis of the Earth spin punctures this celestial dome, that is just a point. It is only a matter of fact that now there is a star there. But in the past, majority of the time in history, there was no star at that. Till you go back 5,000 years back, 3000 BC, there was a one star. So therefore, the ancient references to Dhruva actually that role when that is one is together. So what now is very important. See, this is now the crux of the matter is that this whole situation is not fixed. You have seen spinning tops. What happens? It spins at the same time slowly resists. Exactly the same thing happens with the spinning fast plate, you can see. But it also resists from east to west, like this. Axis resists like this, just like a clock or a spinning top. And this period that we are at is 26,000 years. So it covers the whole history and human history very well. And because of this, the impression of all the things changes. So what is now summer? 13,000 years later, that will become winter. The stellar alignment is the same winter. Now, in January, when it is peak winter in northern hemisphere, you find in the evening sky, your colorful Orion is rising. 13,000 years from now, you find the same event in peak summer. So these kinds of changes take place because of the precision of the equinox. And so therefore, what happens when it precedes, Earth's axis goes down fixed axis like this and describes a circle in the, around the northern celestial pole. And what happens? Since this equator or this whole equatorial plane also precedes with Earth, you will find that the intersection points also change. So every day it will take 1 degree to shift in 72 years. So the equinoctial, so therefore the star against which you find sitting equinox, it will not be the same point after another couple of centuries. So that also is observed in the past. And you can see that what happens. Earth is spinning from west to east, and at the same time, its axis is slowly preceding, taking 26,000 years to go. So these equinoctial points, you can see it moves around the ecliptic slowly. So therefore, the reference in the against the fixed background, what is spring now, after many thousand years, very different in spring time. This is what is happening here. What is summer solstice position against a particular star? Very different after many thousand years. So this is what is used for dating and experiment. So I just explained that. So same thing what is happening. And 26,000 years is a long enough time. Now, various effects of the system of the past I mentioned, I show you here. First of all, the celestial pole position changes. And so now our North Pole is here. And this North Pole position is slowly rotating, taking 26,000 years and comes back here. So in the past, this is the time when Jesus was born. You can see there is no poles now. You have to go up to 3000 BCE. This is 0,000 BCE. 3000 BCE, there is a pole star. So ancient India's they refer to Dhruva Nakshatra, it is that period. At the other time, star. So in future also there will not be any pole star for a very long time. Very, very long time till you come here. 14,000 years from now, or 12,000 years from now. Vedic period is referred to this pole star, which is Tuba, or Vijay. So you can see most, sky now, 2012, see there is a pole star which is called Polaris. But if you see in the past, so 1000 BC, you can see there is no point, there is no star which is fixed, and Polaris is not moving. It is no longer a fixed star. This is 2000 BC. If you go to 3000 BC, the Vedic period, then you can see, yes, there is a pole star, which is this. This is 2-1. And the Polaris has gone where I don't know. This is Polaris, present Dhruva. So this is what is Vedic time sky map is like this. So one is the star, which is the Dhruva Nakshatra. You can see naked eye. Then you must have a star here, which you can observe with naked eye. Now the shift of Varna position, as I mentioned, equinoctial position shifting from west to east, east to west. Now currently we are here. Our vernal equinox, spring equinox, is at this location. That means this is the point where our sun appears to be on that day against the background of the fixed star. But at the time of part of research, it was here. In the Vedic period, other period, the vernal equinoctial position where the sun is, that means exactly this position would have been in this direction, in this star. Now, you will say that how do we find out the direction of this talking about? Ancient Indian astronomers, they found it's taking 27 days to go up and come back to the same position in the sky. That is called the sidereal period of moon's rotation. So what they try to identify every day's position with the help of a group of stars which they call nakshatras. So they have identified small group of stars for every day, but so therefore everything you will find will be along this. All the nakshatras, 27 nakshatras, are 27 groups of stars along the ecliptic. Where moon also is also approximately slightly 5 degrees this way there. So the vernal equinoctial position changes. Currently it is shown by the arrow, and this is the direction. This is the east, this is the west. Remember, any sky map you see, you have to imagine that you are seeing. So therefore, otherwise, if you find this is the east direction, you consider that you are putting it on your head, then you will see that this is the west, east, that is the west. So it is shifting in this direction. For 5,000 years, it has shifted from this. So in the Rigvedic period, the vernal equinoctial point was when the head of Orion is existing. Now it is like that is described in Rigveda. Orion said it as the vernal equinoctial position. What thing happens? This is very important for dating Rigveda. Suppose today there are two stars. Suppose the north position is shifting. It could be sometime N prime and south prime, and some other era it will be N and S. So meridian lines should be like this. So at some period, if this is a meridian line joining north and south pole, two stars could be on that. So if you join those two stars, they point directly to the south and directly to the north. But in another period, we'll find this will be the N prime, this is the S prime, and this will be the meridian lines. So then you'll find they are not on the same meridian lines. If you join them, they will not direct towards point south. The ancient time, finding the direction of the south was important because that is the Pipi Roku or Jamaluka. And northern hemisphere, you can see a celestial pole. So therefore, they suggested a method by finding the direction of exact south by joining two stars. But now those two stars are far away. They don't point towards south. I'll come to that. This is also another phenomenon which happens and can give some idea about the date. Another is heliacal rising of stars. You know, even now, those who are very religious type of person, in the past, all these ages and other Muni rishis, they used to get up very early, post sunrise, Brahma, and used to go to river or a pond, facing towards east. They used to offer the water, etc., rising sun, and they used to notice that what are those stars which are rising just followed by the sun, and the moment it comes up, it vanishes. This kind of rising is called heliacal rising. And they used to note right now what are the stars and constellations at particular time of the year season that they are rising. In Rigveda, this is called Madhuvidya. By this method, they used to identify what is the onset of spring because that was the harvesting time in northwest. So I show what is heliacal rising. You see, we are looking for this very early riser. We find like this. Now, sun is coming and stars fade. So those stars which were just seen rising and then vanished, that is heliacal rising. Let's see once more. Then, let's see now. So this is heliacal rising. The stars last visible. So this is also another thing. They always mark and down. Now, of course, another thing I must tell you quickly that ancient Indian astronomy can be divided to two periods. One is called pre-Siddhantic astronomy, which was prior to 1200 BCE. The last book was Vedanga Jyotish, which is nothing but 49 algorithms for finding out the mean motion of sun and moon. Though it is called Vedanga, luckily it got all our ancient scriptures, Vedic, etc., got saved because they are not written. So nobody could burn it down. So by luck, when it was called Vedanta Jyotish, they thought it is also part of religion. So it got saved. But it is nothing but 49 algorithms. Purely, there is nothing religious at all. That is the last, I think, the most last book of the Siddhantic period. And later, I think it becomes Siddhantic astronomy, which was based upon the 12 zodiacal signs. Siddhantic astronomy was based upon 27 nakshatras, very unique in astrology. So I think our ancient astronomers, they followed or they recorded things were all based upon Siddhantic astronomy, and which was valid till 1200 BCE. Last book is Vedanta. And thousands of years of observation led the ancient astronomers of India to develop a lunisolar calendar. We have a very unique situation because they found that the sun's motion and moon's motion, they are not commensurate. That means they don't give any exact number of days in a year and number of months, lunar months. If you multiply by 12, it will not become 365. So, but they also notice that it is the solar motion or solar month that decided this is. So they developed a lunisolar calendar. All our daily affairs, that is based on lunar calendar. Which tithi, which that, pujas, etc. You all even today that is lunar calendar. But it is matched. How? So there was a shortfall of 15 days. And so every 5 years, what they used to do, 5 days shortfall in for 5. After every 5 years, they used to add 2 extra months. So the shortfall was 12 days, and in 5 years, 12 days shortfall will be 60 days shortfall. So they put 2 extra months, 30, 30, 60. Again, it came back to the same solar position. So Britishers or Western European use solar calendar, and the Islamic calendar is purely lunar calendar. So which goes round throughout the year. Muharram is sometimes in summer, sometimes in autumn, sometimes in winter. There is no fixed season for that. And this, that quickly our Milky Way galaxy is there, remote position, 30,000 light year away from the center. And our solar system is located here, and our this ecliptic plane I told you, that plane is inclined to the central galactic plane by 60 degrees, as you can see here. So it looks, when you see, it looks like this. This is the Milky Way, and this is the central galactic plane, and the ecliptic region that is there at this angle is. All the planets, sun, everything surrounds us. So that represents the orbital plane of the planets and the Earth. And now, how we those markers and say markers. So our ancient Indian astronomers, they found that in different directions there are 27 nakshatras. We start from, for example, Vishakha, Jyeshtha, but 27 nakshatras are there, and this is the ecliptic plane. So along the ecliptic plane, you get 27 nakshatras. So you can always say that if you see the sun here, up here, so full moon will be somewhere here, just opposite to sun, and full moon will be against some nakshatra. So what they did, all the months are named in Indian astrology. In Western style, there is no scientific. So Julius Caesar said that I have a month in my name, it is July. Then Augustus said that why not I also? He gave another month, August. So he had 30 days. So Augustus said my month also will be 31 days. So that way the next after was February. All the extra days were taken away, it was 20 days. Now, in our Indian system, it was more scientific this way. They used to name the names of the months like this. I think it is too advanced a system. My laptop has no problem. Sorry. Now I think. No, still. Yes, leave it here. So I think so we name the month in a very scientific that I want to show. Yes, you can see that Earth is going down Sun and Moon is going down the Earth. So the full moon position will be when it goes into Sun, it's called opposition, and new moon will come when it is in conjunction towards the Sun. So whenever there is a full moon or new moon, at this full moon, you could say that against which nakshatra in the sky, you can say that which nakshatra is against which nakshatra. So depending on the name, answer. So when the full moon takes place against a particular nakshatra, the name of that month prior to that is given that. So that way, when it is a Vishakha nakshatra, the name of the month was Vaishakha. Next full moon was against Jyeshtha. So the name of the month became Jyeshtha. So that is Purashara gave the name Asar, Shravana nakshatra gave the name Shravan, Bhadra nakshatra gave the name Adra, Ashwini nakshatra gave Ashwini, Kritika gave the name Kartik. That way Pusha, Mogha, for Uttara Phalguni and Chitra. That is last. So it was very astronomically done, the naming of the month. So therefore, when you take ancient events, if the name of the month has been given, you know that full moon at that period took place against that particular nakshatra. So that is very important for dating Mahabharata, because it is mentioned very clearly that Bhishma died on the Maha month of March in Shuklashtami, that means Shuklapakha Ashtami, and it was the solstice day. So it can be immediately calculated that how many thousand years back it was. So this way, this naming of the month is very important in Indian history. So you can see it was done like this: Vishakha, Vishta, Ashara, Shravana. So this way, 12 months we have named, and that is all in the ancient. So now changes in the equinoctial and solstitial position. As I mentioned, that since the equinoctial positions and solstitial positions are shifting along the ecliptic, what is the position of summer solstice after 13,000 years? It is totally different. So this way, these things are also mentioned in ancient texts in many places. That gives us a offer back in past antiquity to observation was made. Like then this is kind of thing that solstice. Now, see, for example, summer solstice in 1000 BC here, where the was against some nakshatra. But in 2018 CE, this will be the summer solstice position. Full moon will be against another. That means what summer solstice is now in month of Jyeshtha. Earlier it was against, so the month will be different, and that is precisely what happens. You can see that 4000 BC, so now full moon on the full moon in the summer solstice day is against Jyeshtha nakshatra. So the month is Jeshta. You know that yes, our peak summer day is Jeshta. But say 2400 BC, full moon would have been against the nakshatra, so is Dhanishta. Or 4000 BC, it will be against Purava. Then the big summer will be in the month of Bhadra. So actually the rainy season and etc. They all is glory shifted. Now today you see Makar Sankranti is 14th of January. There is no significance. Why? Because time when we started that, years back, that was this winter solstice. That means the Krishna ended and Uttarayan started. It was a very auspicious day. So what happened? Now winter solstice has advanced to 21st December, but we're still celebrating 14th or 14th of January as the Sankranti day. There's nothing to do with that. Same is Vaishak. In Bengal, there are also even cry about Paila Vaishak. There is no astronomical significance. Earlier, the day of the year used to start on vernal equinox or spring equinox day. And that time it used to coincide with what we call as first of Vaishak. But now it has gone to 21st of March. So that is what is happening. So we continue our rituals without bothering about changing the things. So you can see that how the summer solstice, winter solstice, these days change. And these records can be also used. So now, I think now let us see the chronology of ancient India, overall structure of the proto-history and ancient India. So here you will see, this is the Vedic and Vedanta period, this is the Puranic period, this is the transition period, this is the historic period. And this is the geological thing, the archaeological thing. Now it has been now found that Indus Valley civilization ended, and in that sets the Mahabharata. In Pranakila, in Delhi, that region, they have done and they find that ancient the map, the kind of pottery, etc., which was there, the late Travancore period matches. Now it is more or less established by archaeologists that that civilization, Indus Valley civilization, ended there, and prominent civilization was Gangetic Valley. And this is the proto-historic period, and arrival from Pami, etc. Maybe that is the place where this started. And this is the basic structure of our ancient history. So chronology means this is the seed anchor. That's why a lot of people, I think, many scholars have about dating Mahabharata. There are some conflicts are there, but I think not of space to fix up the date of Mahabharata. That is the seed anchor of ancient Indian history. Mahabharata war, how it is done. Important calendrical references are there. I am not going to detail. Maybe this is available. So actually Mahabharata was this. Same Balaram left for pilgrimage along the river Saraswati bank 24 days before the start of the war. Mahabharata was started on a new moon day at Jeshta. Then Bhishma fell on the 10th day, and Balaram returns on the 18th day, on the day when the war also ended. Bhishma continued to be on his deathbed for another, I think, 67, 68 days, and when he chose to die, it was winter solstice day at Dhanishta, and it was not full moon, but 7 days before full moon, regular Astronomical. So this can be used and can be calculated by using planetary software or calculation method of astronomy. It can be dated. And this mentioned is very clearly that month of Magha, it is being Shuklashtami, and it is adequate for simplification. So how it is done? Again, it is Shiva. This computer is too advanced to.
You got recently, that much I know.
She said it so many times. kind of or your the software is pirated or what? Yeah. So this is the sky map of 2397 BC. Full moon was there and sun is there. That is the full day. And you can see this is the Mahabharata and moon is here. So therefore it is the month of Magha. That can be established. But then, but that was not the Krishna didn't die on 7 days before that. So what can be done? You can read it like this. This is the full day. And this was 2400 BC. It was also the winter solstice day. But Vishnu died 7 days before. So if you take care of this, it becomes approximately 1500 BC to 1800 BC. Approximately, because later there is always some error. Yeah, etc. So it has been dated approximately as 1500 BC by various methods. And the Vishnu Puran says that Java Parikshito Java Nanda Visechana. That means from Parikshit's time to the Vishek of Mahapadananda, and who was the initiator of the Nanda Vangsha. And later was Pachita Suttara. That means from the time of Parikshit, the time of Mahapadananda's throne was 1050 years. So the estimate also takes that little, so you can now see how. So Mahapadananda is about 100 years before Dhanananda, who was actually removed by Chandragupta. Defeating him in So and that matches with Alexander. So from Alexander's time, if you take back 100 years back, so you go back from the 3rd century BC to 4th century BC, and another 1000 years, because that is mentioned in the Vishnu Puran. So it is 1500 BC is approximately the date. So all these dates have been worked out by various methods, but actually many people now say that this is the time 1450 or 1500 around that. That is the time most probably. So there are some other things that after 37 years of Mahabharata war, Krishna died. And the Dwarka also was submerged by ocean. Now they are actually, SR Rao discovered the Mahabharata in the Dwarka city below ocean. A lot of work is being done, and they are trying to date that also. It is matching that that is the period when it actually got submerged. So there are various directions. It is astronomy. You have to match this date, astrological, climatological, paleological, all kinds of methods, and genealogical. It should match. It should not give you something very different. And that has been done. So this is what happens that Mahabharata war, you can have our Mahabharata war. And this is very well told, that is Kartika Amavasya. This of hell, war ends, and this is the visitor dies, and this is the full moon. And how this was the day after the war began, and now it is year after the war. Krishna's death was 36 after the year. 1050 years after that, which Mahapadananda's coronation, and 1150 was end of Nanda Vamsha, and Shaka era started here, birth of Jesus is here, and Salivahana, Shaka era, Aryabhatta one, so on. So therefore, this is the approximate linking of Mahabharata War of the rest. And these are the civilizational aspect. So end of the late Harappan civilization and Gangetic tradition started, that is matching approximately, because it came even before Mahabharata War. That's why we won't find many things about India's, whether it is in Purana or any research scripture. There is a gap. You won't find, for up to Buddha's time, very little is known. Why? Because after such a huge major war, just like our world war, there will be gap in history. And that is precisely what is talked about. So Vedic scripture, quickly I mentioned, is very important. So it refers to the heliacal rising of Ashwin Nakshatra months after the winter solstice as the concept of spring. And that is in Rig Veda called Madhu Vidya. Because Madhu Ritu was actually the Vasanta Ritu. Madhu was the ancient name of spring. Vasant is relatively more recent name. So Madhu Vidya was when the scholars and others would tell the farmers, now it's ready for harvesting. And how they used to detect it? That after 2 months of winter solstice, Ashwini Nakshatra will rise heliacally. So therefore, there are many slokas in Rig Veda. This is the way you can identify the concept of spring. And there you can see that this is sun and this is triangulum, which is identified as Ashwini. So the longitudinal difference is just right for heliacal rising of triangulum. This is triangulum and this is sun below that. And you can also see that it is about 4000 BC, this kind of configuration was possible. As you can see now, in 24th March 4000 BC, you will notice the triangulum will rise heliacally. You can see now sun. And this is 4th March, 2 months after the winter solstice day, 4000 BC. Now it doesn't happen. Next, another thing which was mentioned, that Orion's head was at not exactly, it cannot be exactly on the vernal equinox, but it was at the vernal equinox point. So you can see here, 4000 BC, this is the Orion's head, and this is the position which is vernal equinox, around 4000 BC. You know that equinoctial position shifts, so 4000 BC it was here, and Orion's head was the nearest. That description also matches approximately 4000 BC. Next, you will find this is also very important, change in meridian. Now, it was very important to find out the exact south because that is the Jamaru when you give offerings. So they gave a method which is mentioned in various ancient texts that how to find out exactly south. That says this. And it has been analyzed by Western scholars. It was in Rig Veda, Atharva Veda. They said that the stars that you know, the two defending dogs now has Ojama, four eyes sitting by the road. That if you add these two stars, it will point towards this. And these are nothing but Alpha Canis minoris and Alpha Canis majoris. So if you add these two stars, then it will point towards south. This is very interesting. So in Rig Veda it says that these are the two stars. To join them points exactly to the south. Canis, Alpha Canis minor and Alpha Canis major. Now, how you see, join the two stars points towards from southeast. So therefore, the description of finding, the method of finding the exact south, which is given in Rig Veda and Atharva Veda, that dates back at least of the order of 4000 BC. Then rising of Kritika. Kritika Nakshatra was very important for the deity of fire. So it was important for these sages and others to notice and record its motion very accurately. And in many Vedas, very mentioned, it rises exactly east. Now, when the nakshatra can rise exactly east, being a nakshatra, it must be on the ecliptic. And for rising east, it has to be on equator. So what is the only possibility? It has to be both on the equator and also on the ecliptic. That is on one of the equinoctial points. Now it is not so. Suppose these are the so many slokas are there. The Kritika never shows on the east, which is very easily noticed, but if you notice something day by day. So I will show you also by software, planetary software, how it happens. So in 2013 AD, Kritika is rising here. This is the exact east. So it is rising here. On the other hand, 3000 BC approximately, Kritika was rising exactly on the east. I show you that also. You see, it is 29 BCE, 3000 BCE. Kritika Nakshatra is rising exactly in the east. This is the exact east. Yeah, you can see this is Kritika. It rose exactly in the east. That means 2900 BC. It is rising exactly in the east. Just now you saw. But now, at present, it is 2012 CE, you'll find it will rise far towards north. Yeah, this is Kritika. So you can see that substantially it has shifted from these. But earlier, those Vedic time, it was exactly, it is 33,000 BC approximately, as you have just seen. These are all the actual planetarium pictures of us, because they can tell you exactly what is the situation from 10,000 BC to 10,000 AD. So, therefore, I think another thing was there was a spectacular eclipse on the summer solstice day, exactly on the midday noon. There was a total solar eclipse observed on northwest India. So a lot of research has been done on that by Britishers, by Indian scholars. And what ultimately happened, that Kaushitiki Brahman, Rigveda, they tell all these things. So it happened exactly on the summer solstice day, exactly at noon. It's a very definite period, definite day, definite time. And Dr. Sengupta was the famous astronomer of Calcutta University. He published his paper in Sky and Telescope, Volume 1, Number 5, for Harvard College Observatory, 1941. So he dated it as July 26, 3926 BCE. That matches with the description. And another slight variation was there regarding the solstice position. And another possibility was not very different, but 4000 BC. So approximately 4000 BC was the dating which was decided, which is described in Rigveda, is very spectacular. And the earliest event that is described in Rigveda, historical number has been given, is the heliacal rising of Asin, the solstice. You see, during the Rigveda period, heliacal rising was 2 months after the winter solstice. Just now I saw this triangulum is rising heliacal. But it says that it was a heliacal rising winter solstice. That goes back much far back in past. It is 8,300 BC. So therefore, approximately the chronology can take the results like this. These are the pre and early Vedic period. The earliest description of astronomical description dates back to 8,000 BC. Remember, these are only few. There are many more, but some prominent dating has been done. Then the other kinds of dating are like this. So approximately, this is 4,000 BC. This is 8,000 BC. The Vedic period is around is 3,000 and approximately 3,000 to 4,000. Mahabharata were the dates which have been done by the scholars. Many scholars has been done. And it is approximately, now people accept it is 1500 BC. Vedanta Jyotish, that pre-Siddhantic astronomy text has been analyzed by all. It gives a date 1400 BC. And there are some astrological references with Mongols, that means that kind of thing, that 1200 BC. So the dates which are actually found starts from 8000 BC to 1500 BC. This is the ancient period of India up to Mahabharata war. Then there was a dark period, and of course the onset of historic period with Gautama Buddha. So this is the rough structure of ancient India's chronology based upon astronomical dating. Now, there is no time, I'll not go into those. This you can easily match with climatic, right? Saraswati River. It is considered in Rigveda as the best among the mothers, best among the rivers, best among the goddesses. O Saraswati, we are living in misery, bring prosperity to us. This is a famous slogan. Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame, Saraswati, so on. The Saraswati was a mighty river. Now it doesn't exist. So, by using satellite images, Jaspal and others, they started dating. Now they found that these paleo channels of Satadru River used to come here, and then it used to go from Ropar and so like this, and this is the ancient channel of Satadru or Satluj. They used to meet with this river, and this was this ocean, a mighty river, 8 kilometers wide. Yamuna also had old channel which is to give its water to Saraswati. Now tectonic upheavals moved Saraswati to east, it went to Ganga, Jamuna, and Satadru, you can see, is suddenly shifted towards west. You can see that all the clear channels are like this. Near Ropar, it suddenly shifted west and went to Indus. But earlier, all its water is to come. All these paleo channels said that in the ancient past, the description of River Saraswati, which is now vanished. Really, these are the satellite images, which was released by USA, American NASA, much later, 28 or 70. And then it was analyzed by Jaspal. So, therefore, you find all these dried up channels which have been found out, huge number of prehistoric towns and settlements exist. All the major towns, etc., of the Harappan period, late Harappan, early Harappan, post Harappan period, they are along this dried up channel. So nobody will have a settlement or town, a dried up river. Why will do that? So therefore, again, Balaram went for the Mahabharata war on pilgrimage along the bank of Saraswati. But he could go up to a place in the desert called Vinashana, where Saraswati vanished. Now, geologically, now it has been established by scientific method that Saraswati, these are the organizations who are doing the research study. ISRO, PRL, BR, CTIFR, IITH, etc. The results of the most recent result by scientists of PRL and IIT Bombay have been published in November this in Nature. They have shown through a large number of studies that Ghaggar-Hakra channel was a perennial river with very large volume of water flow during 80,000 BC to 20,000 BC, and then again from 9,000 BC to 4,500 BC. The second phase matches with the Indus civilization and Vedic periods. This is the period. But it dried up in 4,000 BC. So in Rigveda tells it is the mightiest of the river. So it cannot be greater than 4,500. So that's why it matches very well. So geological evidence, then there are other kinds of climatological evidence also, geological evidence also. So this way, I think, then they have also done research sea level rise and fall. That has been established. So this is the sea level, mean sea level. Current value is this. In the past, it has fluctuated like this, and it was much below the present level. You can see 4 meter, 5 meters, 6 meter. This was the little ice age when it was low. So therefore, this is the period when actually this palm trees, so much of discrepancy that Adam said to. For some period, it was above sea level. Could go up. and not very much past, only few hundred years back. Again, you can see possible flooding of Dwarka was here. Earlier it was here, then suddenly it goes by. So this is the period where perhaps it happened, which matches with that date approximately. And Ramayana period was this, and it was about 3 meters or 4 meters below now. And now the adult stage is actually 3 to 4 current sea level. So it is just below that. So all this kind of research is going on. And now we have also this structure of this they found that the stones below the top. So they are more recent, and the other stones which are top, they are the older ones, which shows that perhaps they are shifted from other place later. So it has a lot of interesting points to research, whether it is an artificial thing or natural thing. And why I am telling government of Tamil Nadu had a lot of interest in actually cutting it so that ships will pass through that. So what I think, if it is actually that kind of archaeological thing, then it cannot be done. So this way, a lot of work has been done and still going. And this is what it was found out a few years back, chariots at Sanauli, near Delhi. And this has been dated by carbon dating, etc., as 1900 to 1400 BC by various techniques. And a description of this chariot remains matches exactly with that chariot description in the Mahabharata. So therefore, the date of Mahabharata, what has been found, is matching very well with the remain of this chariot, which has been found recently near Delhi or Hastinapur, which is called Sanauli. And as I mentioned, that is around still very in archaeology. They have done extensive investigation and research on Dwarka, and the sunken parts of the city has been discovered. They are still working on that. So, potteries, etc., there I am not going to this. The comprehensive diagram, as I mentioned, is this. That is, whole histories, ancient past can be combined into a table like this, which is, of course, very small letters. So, genealogical thing, this is the monophab book, which will start 9000 BC, just after the last ice age, where melting started and climate became severe. It say all kinds this kind of tolerable thing where civilization flourished. If you say then he has two sons, and after 14 generations, and after the 34 generations, you had 7600 BC, there are the deluge period for 907 years. There are no list of any king because it was a deluge. So this was the pre-deluvial period, and post-deluvial period starts here, and these are again the number of generations. So all these things are not there. Harishchandra was the 34th generation from the post-deluvial period, and you will see Rama was the 68th generation. 3000 BC approximately. This is Rama Dasarathi. There are many other Ramas. Then Sulasa, you know the battle of 10 kings, which is described in Greek Veda in so much detail, where various tribes left that soil to various other countries. It's a very interesting story. And 100 generations, you find Brihatara, Rama's descendant, who was killed by Abhimanyu during the war, Mahabharata war. Then the other Jatu, then was Krishna, 100 generation. And another one, that side it is Jarasandha, Arjuna, so on. So this is the 100 generations after the deluge period was over. And this is what Mahabharata war took place. And then after Mahabharata war, again, this is one generation. And Gautam Buddha was 43rd generation. And his lineage is actually same as Rama's lineage. You have to keep that in mind. And then after 50 generations of Mahabharata, the historic period started. And this is the description which is given there of Chandragupta Maurya's thing. So this in a nutshell gives the complete ancient past, starting from the Ice Age in to the path of Jesus Christ, or what you say, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka's period, like that. So the whole ancient past of India can be captured in a table like that. The details are not given in between, which you can see, but these are all the genealogical research done by Patita and subsequently many Indian scholars. So the concluding remarks can give that a reasonably well-structured chronology of the proto and early historic periods of India can be reconstructed using the astronomical devices. I'm giving only a few. Because in one lecture we cannot go, but it can be a full course actually if somebody wants. Then it matches well with genealogical list of Puranic kings. Investigation also show major changes in climates from geological and associated evidence from the satellite images and other kinds of tests. The impact of that on the progress and demise of various eras of Indian civilization is very clearly corroborated by, and recent archaeological findings also hint at the historical nature of many of the epics and Puranic literature. We consider them as, just like say, it says that there was an Arjun, Kartavirya Arjun, not the Pandava Arjun. So he quite many long time back before Mahabharata. He was so you have seen Bahubali. So the capital was Mahishati kind of thing, that place, and he started going north and burning towns and villages and conquering them. That he then went up to almost Himalayas foothills and stopped. Very mighty people. He is called Kartavirya Arjun. Now, archaeological survey has shown that many of the ancient Indus Valley or Harappan Valley sites, there is a layer of burn. And before that also there was some traces of civilization. After that burn there also there is. And the date matches approximately, it is about 5,000, 6,000 kind of years from now. So therefore I think that is described in Purana, that there was Kartavirya who burned Nagar cities down and went up to Himalayas foothills, and it's by actual archaeological things that birth there have been now discovered. So there are many discoveries are there to point to the correctness of some of the description. Now this is actually very abridged version of two creative lectures I gave, and they are available in these two sites. Far more details. Here it is very much concise I gave. This is lecture 1, lecture 2. If anybody is interested, you will just go to these two sites and see that. And major references I have used are these books primarily, and I think this will give you the basic gist of, if somebody is interested, these books will give you, because literature is very large, but I think these are the, and many of them are very recent books. I think I should not continue, I should stop here because it keeps on going. If you have any question, I'm quite sure there will be questions, I will definitely try to satisfy you. But I think please note that this is a very interesting area. But a lot of this can be done. So I found out, that what is the ancient name of planet Shukra in Sanskrit? Vena. And in Hellenistic astronomy, they call it Venus. So the two people, the direction to find out the two dogs are mentioned, the Sharma's dogs, which in Hellenistic astronomy are called as Canis. But Vedic period we have seen is about 4000 BC, and Hellenistic period is only 500 BC. So how this huge gaps time could give this kind of peculiar coincidences? And I feel there are lots of missing parts which you don't state. And therefore, I think, as Professor Murthy was telling, there's enough scope of unearthing many new things by proper study. Why? Because many of the things we are doing, which are based upon the studies of the Western scholars in the 19th century. And in many cases, their knowledge of Sanskrit was not perfect. Secondly, what characteristic of ancient scripture was it has to be in the form of allegory. Many of the descriptions will be in the form of an allegory, which has been analyzed later to become actual scientific description. But I think there is enough scope for misreading. So therefore, nowadays, with more knowledge of our history or language, Sanskrit, etc., I am quite sure that some of the mistakes which are made can be corrected. And if you have a department or center into these things, my request will be first trying to see by going into the primary source. So I'm not that expert in Sanskrit, but really, if you don't go into the primary sources, you will not be able to find out if there has been a mistake committed by the Western scholars in 19th century. So this Max Muller, sometimes he said that Rigveda was 1200 BC and Aryans came in 1500 BC because it was motivated by the East India Company. But in other places, he says that who knows the date? Rigveda could be 8,000 years old. It cannot be said, definitely. So there are many kinds of conflicting remarks, but those which match the interest of the British rulers in that time, those are projected, as it always happens. So I think with the real study of the primary sources can reveal many new things. We will not be able to do that because we are not expert in ancient Sanskrit scriptures. So thank you very much.
Yeah, but I'm sure there will be some discussion. Yeah. Let's meet you after that. Huh? Please, Professor Venkat, you take care.
So any question? Yeah, please.
First of all, thank you for coming here, and that was a wonderful talk. And it's a very unique perspective to use modern astronomical data and ancient astronomical calculations, and then integrating with the history and mythology to give a scientific perspective of it. Yes. Yeah. So, my question being, all the modern astronomical achievements have been credited to the West. Galilean model, the heliocentric model, geocentric model, all of these have been credited to the West. We have solid data that Indians' intelligence much before that. Is it needed on a global platform? If yes, why taken it up?
One was in the 5th century AD. Heliobatium clearly mentions in Slokas that also we find every day it is due to the Earth's rotation from west to east. Not only he mentions that it is a relative observation we get, it is so kinematic relativity was first mentioned by Galileo 1200 years before Galileo. And he not only tells that it is because of the spin rotation of the Earth, he calculates the period and the accuracy is 0.4 seconds when compared with the modern Earth. So it is there. It is not any ambiguity, not any very allegorical description. No, he tells. His Sloka says that as when we are on a boat and boat starts sailing, we find that the bank is slowly moving the opposite direction. Exactly the same thing happens. Since the Earth is moving from west to east, we find that the heaven, along with all its objects, etc., are moving from east to west. He does mention that in 2 slokas, Aryabhatyam, and he calculates the period of Earth's rotation to the accuracy of 0.4 seconds when compared with the present time.
Textbooks like.
But heliocentric model, some say he had some idea, but he courage. Tell you why it so much time, that not to accept heliocentric and accept that Earth is orbiting. It is the absence of the laws of mechanics, the laws of inertia. So people tell if it is moving, I drop a stone, why it is falling here? It should fall behind. So this was the very common reason. They didn't know that inertia of motion, etc. They didn't have that first law. But in one sloka, Aryabhatyam, he says that that the motion of the planets from the Earth around the celestial sphere can be understood by these kinds. So he mentions Ushna. So that why he should mention Ushna beyond the Earth. But he has not clearly that Earth is going on. But the daily rotation, he was very sure, he gave the calculation, he told it clear answer that why we see. So definitely that is 1200 years before. Because in Galileo's time, it was difficult to get people accepted. Even the daily rotation, people do not accept. If that also it is 1000 miles per hour, speed of surface of the earth is moving near the equator. So as the prophet told it should follow. It takes 1 second, at least few meters behind. It is not happening, so earth is not rotating. But so much time, unequivocally clear scientific action that earth is spinning and the rate of the speed of the period of calculated very accurately. But why we don't mention these things, I don't know.
Any query?
Yeah.
Rise of sea level and creation of evidence under it at the time. So, like, why there is a melting of the ice?
Yeah.
So,
Because during the ice age, the major part of the water is in the form of ice. So therefore, I think somehow tens of thousands of years back, sea level was 300 feet below, 120 meters below, and the land masses were very much connected. One could almost walk up to Australia, a small island hopping. And that's how ancient tribes could travel from Africa to India to Southeast Asia and to Australia and New Zealand, and including Andaman. How did they go? Andaman, they have the tribe, it's an ancient tribe. Because the land masses were very connected, the sea level was more than 300 feet below the current.
now people are talking about climate change. So, is that actually very low than more or less from last couple of years?
Climate change, I just mentioned one thing. It is a very controversial thing. Climate has changed in the past also. So there was one Romanian scientist in the early 30s, I think 1920s, 30s or so. His name was Milankovic. So he first studied that all the astronomical parameters, Earth's axis structures, Earth's period, that it slowly precesses. Earth then this the electricity of Earth, every parameter has a periodic phenomenon. Period is about some period is 26,000 years, just now I showed precision. Then the tilting, that fluctuates is 44,000 years. So that way he prepared a model. He said that the climate depends on insolation, incoming solar radiation. So how much solar radiation will come, that will depend on this parameter. He combined everything and he showed that it fluctuates with time. And he showed that in the past, climate should have fluctuated like this. Nobody bothered, because how do you know what was there like 50,000, 1 lakh years before? But then in the 50s, the project started by taking the core of the Antarctic ice. So if you take the ice from 1 meter below, 100 meter below, 1000 meter below, so deeper you go, the ice which contain bubbles of ancient atmosphere. So that gave to the ancient climatic condition. Ancient contain everything. Scientists do that. So they have now been able to in the 50s. What was the Earth's temperature, average temperature, ammonia content, everything? When they plotted that, they found it matches exactly Milankovitch's theoretical model. And then immediately again, Milankovitch's theory was resurrected and studied. So it is now not very sure that what climate change is of gas parameters on our body, cold, etc. Still not known. So therefore, what the for 250 billion years, the theoretical model of Milankovitch matches very well the observed data taken Antarctic ice core data they have got.
And if there is no balloting, then there may be some melting of the ice may happen, the sea level can come down also because of the change in the astronomy.
So all parameters are changing. So what happens is radiation which you are receiving, so that fluctuates. And that's what was Milankovitch model, that he considered that that is the real cause of climate change.
Let's thank Professor Ghosh for giving this.
Thank
I just clearly see one thing because being a radical attending lecture, see the depth to which scientific evaluation and then relating the natural as well as the realistic effects. You can clearly see that the way it takes the analysis. Once again, let's thank Professor Ghosh.
Thank you. Something I